Right, okay. Kieran McGivern here, Box of Bants, and I'm very happy to be joined here with 14-time Irish national champion, former elite Irish national champion, former European gold medalist, and also a former Commonwealth bronze medalist, Mr. James Mc Givern. James, how are you?
I'm not too bad. I'm in the middle of doing my water load to make weight, so I'm not exactly the happiest camper in the world, but I'm alright.
Yeah. The Feile card, you're going to be featuring on it this week. I imagine you're very busy, but also obviously very excited as well.
Yeah, this week ends up being sort of chaotic. And it's my first sort of experience of this. You've run about to do, you have things to organise and people to organise tickets for and go and collect shorts and sort of t-shirts and stuff out. So it can be a bit chaotic, but I'm trying to get it all done early in the week so I can relax coming closer to Friday night.
Yeah. So this is actually your first experience as a pro for ticket selling. Is that right?
Well, we actually haven't sold tickets. No, Ticketmaster sold them themselves. But I was able to organise with friends and family. I got them as a couple organised with Jamie, thankfully. So I've done a bit just organise that.
I suppose in that aspect you're kind of blessed in that way, like because the Feile card in the past, I remember how busy a lot of the fighters were.
Yeah.
Tickets like I suppose the tickets kind of sell themselves the Feile, but still you're still having to deliver them and all these kind of things. But
I was meant to have my debut was meant to be right before COVID in April, and then I was starting to sell tickets for that down in Ulster Hall, and it was chaotic. See the amount of people coming and then trying to chase people for money and all that carrying on. It is chaotic. Like, so I'm hoping that maybe my sister, maybe she'll take over the reins of doing that. I'll get her to do that.
Are you a little bit disappointed that you didn't get to fight Sean in the end? Because Sean's he was 4-0. He had been in the game, a pro game, a little bit longer. It was two Irish fighters fighting on a Feile. Traditionally, it usually always has someone. I know Conan and TJ are both from the island, but it would have been nice. Are you a little bit disappointed in regards to that?
Yeah, of course it would have been. We'll call it a sack. That's exactly what it was. It would have been interesting. Obviously, you cross paths from the Ulsters. A whole different fight. There's a whole different ball game. Do you know what I mean? Like it was going to be an 8-rounder. So it would have been a totally different fight. But what can you do? These things happen. I don't even know what it was that made him pull out. I think COVID maybe. I'm not actually 100% sure, but I'm just glad I'm fighting the card still, to be honest. I don't care who I'm fighting. As long as I'm fighting that card, I guess it's going to be, I think, probably the biggest card Ireland's seen. The last Feile was pretty big as well, but the amount of good fights on this, the amount of big names on it is unbelievable. So I'm just glad I'm on.
I know you're not, obviously, like we just said, you're not fighting Sean, but how did it come about that you actually, you and Sean were like, right, well, let's take the fight? Because people would say at his stage in his career, he wouldn't have to fight you and vice versa, because you were only 2-0 and people would be saying, well, it's a bit of a risk for both of you. But how do you think that kind of came about?
Jamie had fought me one day, ages ago, and he had mentioned I was meant to fight on the 25th of June, and it fell through. So then he says to me, "You're fighting the Feile." And I says, "Right, brilliant." And he had mentioned about an All-Ireland clash. And he says, anytime you ask me about a fight, I say, "I don't care who it is, I'll fight anyone you want." And he had went and then come back with Sean and says, "You want to fight Sean?" And I says, "I'll fight anyone you want me to fight." Like it's no, don't care whether it's Sean Duffy or whether it's Muhammad Ali. I'll fight whoever you want me to fight.
Yeah. And obviously, subsequently, Sean isn't. You're not fighting him now, but you're fighting Ed Harrison now. Am I right in saying?
Yeah.
And how much do you know about Ed?
Bits and pieces, not a whole lot. I know they fought I fought in the Golden Contract card with Jazza Dickens. I had fought in that card as well, I'm nearly sure. And then they had fought Isaac Lowe, obviously, and that was a big one. Other than that, not a whole lot. I don't really do the whole going and doing my homework thing about fighting. I like to get in there. I think if you go and do the homework too much, you end up getting with the game plan, and that might not necessarily be the way he fights on the night. So you can get caught up and stuff like that. I can just get in and see what happens while I'm in there.
in regards to the pro game, how have you adapted to it? Because a lot of people say, like Carl Fabnews always say, he said the amateurs and the pro game are two completely different sports, in his opinion. And your nickname is the Natural. How have you taken to it? Like, have you naturally kind of adapted to it?
Pretty naturally. Naturally is a good way to explain it. It is slower, a lot slower. But Jamie, whenever I turned to a pro at the start, I had a meeting with Jamie. Me, him, my dad, and Danny had a meeting, and he explained it perfectly. It's snooker and pool. Two different sports, two different games, but exactly the same objective. Put the ball in the hole. This is put your fist in his face. It's pretty simple. Of course, it slows down a bit, and there's maybe a bit more meat on your punches. But I'm only doing 6 rounders. It's not like I'm doing the 12 rounds yet, so it's all still pretty basic enough. There's nothing too fancy happening yet. I'm just slowing my pace down, maybe. But I was already naturally sort of fought at a slow pace. I'm a counter puncher, so it was naturally I was sort of waiting and setting traps. So I've took to it naturally like a duck to water.
In terms of training, like have you noticed much of a difference in training?
It's tougher, longer. Longer is the way I would explain it. I have trained with Stuart McKeaton, my S&C coach from Bia. I trained with him. The first time I fought Sean Duffy, funny enough, in the Ulsters was my first sort of camp with him. And I've just kept him on, and we've just rejigged the training. It's just longer now. It's a lot more professional. Like everything's set. We'll have a set structure of what we're going to do every single day, and we know, like, there's no going to the gym and going, right, what are we going to do here? Everything we have set, ready to go. There's a program worked out from the DNR. We get a time and a date. We'll work back from that. So it's a lot more professional.
Yeah, I've heard a few people say that they just find it the training is similar, but it's just at a much more higher intensity, much more longer. That's what most people have said to me in their experience.
That's natural. I mean, the fights are longer. So I mean, it wouldn't take a superstar to work that one out. Like you're fighting for a longer period of time. You train a bit longer.
One thing I was going to ask you was the fight that's scheduled on Friday is at lightweight. Is that the weight purely you want to compete at moving forward?
No, or
do you think you could make super featherweight?
Super feather is what I'm campaigning on. This fight's 59.9 and super feather's 59. I think the 0.9 allowance is because maybe this guy got a late notice or something. I don't know. But I'm super featherweight is what I'm campaigning at. Now, my first 2 fights were but again, it was a little change. And I'm happy enough. I'll fight in around that now. But when it comes to fighting championships and stuff like that, I'll be 59. I was actually trying to get the fight for the Irish title on this Feile card. I was asking Jamie, can we do that? I think we can do. We're looking at who was the Irish champion. I was hoping to get that belt on the line, and then I think I all just sort of fell through.
But it would like there's no reason why I necessarily couldn't have. You look at Carl Kelly and Fergal McCrory fought for. I think Carl fought for the Irish title against Fergal McCrory when it was like his 4th fight, maybe 3rd fight, maybe. So it's not impossible.
This is it. I asked about it, and then once Sean Duffy fell through, sort of thought, right, well, there's probably slim to no chance that we're going to fight that this time. But I'll bide my time. Listen, I know it'll come very shortly.
You look at the pedigree that you have now from the amateur scene. Like, what is it that you're looking like when you walk away from the sport now? What in your eyes would be success? And what route do you want to go? Some people want to get there as quickly as they possibly can, but you look at Gary Cully, who wants to go the traditional route. He wanted to win an Irish title. He wants to win a version of the European title and move through that kind of way. What is it that you want to do?
That's a good question. That at the minute, whenever I first turned over, it was just about enjoying it and enjoying the experience. Obviously, everyone says the exact same thing. The end goal is to be a world champion. Of course it is. I totally believe that it can be. Like, I look at some of the world champions in my weight and go, I think I can beat them. I have a long, long way to go yet, and I know that. It's a long, long old road. But at the minute, I put all my faith into Jamie and MTK. Like, they'll lead me a long way path. Whoever they say to fight, I know every time that I fight, I'm stepping up. Eventually, there'll be belts involved. But Irish European, Commonwealth world champion maybe.
Ultimately, with the Irish title, a lot of the times when people have to, it's not necessarily a lot of lads don't want to fight for it, but it's just because at the time, because the pool of fighters that are there, you kind of have to have the right dance partner at the right time for a lot of people. And for you, kind of obviously Sean would have been ideal at the time, but is there anyone else do you think would make sense for an Irish title before you move on to
Is anyone who actually has the Irish title? I don't know. Whoever that has the Irish title. I think we'll look back at it. I think it was.
It's been a while since it's been contested. So it was James Tennyson. James Tennyson beat Declan Geraghty, my friend Declan, for
right. He's way up now. He's up in the. Is he going to super lightweight now? Is he yet?
I think he's going to stay at lightweight. I know there was rumours of him moving, but I think he's just going to take some time out and then kind of then come back in that lightweight. I don't think it would make, like he said to people, I don't think it makes sense for him to move that far up. But like it was Declan and James Tennyson fought for it in 2017. That was the last time. But no one holds the belt anymore at that way. I think
it's one of them things.
James, I think, just gave it up. Basically, he retired it. But yeah, there's plenty of names there. There's Stephen McAfee. Would be like you have John O'Carroll, who's number 1 ranked, and then you have James Tennyson, Anthony Kakachi. Those types of names realistically have kind of moved on from that level.
Them boys they're all a step ahead of me yet. I mean,
exactly. So then you'd be looking at Stephen McAfee, Marty Quinn, Callum Bradley. That would be the kind of Rory Dalton. They're the people that are ranked in the top 10 there around that weight class.
I've looked at that, and again, it's one of them things. I'll just fight whoever I'm told to fight. It's not going to go and start telling people I want to fight this guy, I want to fight that guy. Jamie tells me who I fight. It's not the other way about.
Yeah. Well, look, it's nice that there's a good, nice pool there, so look, anyone could end up fighting for it, you know. But it's nice to know. Last thing I was going to say, do you have any ambition or prediction for Friday, or is it just about just going and enjoying yourself?
For me, I do this all the time where I think that overthink in my head. I'll go in. I'm thinking I'll go in and see what this guy does. The first 2 fights, what I found happened was the first round, they sort of came to have a go, and then after 2-3 rounds, they just took up and just survive. It depends. Once I get an opponent that's going to come out to try and have a go, is when I'll really be able to sort of showcase my skills and catch people. So I'm hoping if he comes to have a go, could stop him. I don't know if he's been stopped before or been knocked out or anything like that. I'm getting in just to do what I do. And if a knocker comes, I'll take it. Yeah.
Definitely. It should be a really good. Night. I'm sure you'll have plenty of celebrations after. So
hopefully so. Hopefully all goes to plan. Enjoy it. Listen, to be honest, I was talking to my cousin earlier on. He was saying, like, when are you going to be on fighting? And I was going, to be honest, I want to fight first. Because once I fight first, I can sit down then and watch Tyrone, watch Mick, watch Sean. Like, they're going to be unreal fights. I was talking about Paul McCrory today, and I was going, Jesus, I can't wait to sit and watch Usman's fight.
Yeah.
So I'd fight first and what we do.
Yeah. Definitely. And it's before the crowd come in as well. So you usually get a good view of everything before everyone comes in. But looking forward to it. I'll probably see you there. I'll probably be interviewing you after it. So looking forward to it. All right.
No problem. No worries, mate.
All right. Thanks very much, James. And I'll speak to you soon, okay?
I'll see you up here very soon.
Yeah, see you then, okay? Thanks very much.
Bye-bye.